And welcome back to another episode of Dogs on the Couch, where everybody's allowed to have an opinion. It does not matter if you played the game you were watching, so you're allowed to have an opinion as well. Please, by all means, like, comment, most importantly, subscribe. I really appreciate it, man. The subscription helps grow the channel as well as push these videos into the algorithm so that like-minded people are able to view them. So thank you very much for all those who have subscribed. And if you have not yet, please do so, man. I greatly appreciate it. All right. Get in the comment section, man. Have a conversation with me. Tell me whether you agree or you don't agree. I'm currently watching the overtime period here between the Cavs and the Knicks in game 1. In the previous video, I was talking about how I felt like, Kenny's loyalty or affinity to Dean Wade, should probably take a back seat, going forward, seeing as though you had to resort to starting Max Strus to win that game 7, and essentially win the Pistons, the series against the Pistons. But of course, tried Dean Wade back out here in the starting lineup, and respectfully, I mean, it worked for what it worked for or whatever. But then when the game kind of got to crunch time, first of all, Kenny has a very bad feel for runs. Okay, so there was a point, I believe it was like an 18-2 run that the Knicks had got on, and number one, lineups is always something that Kenny seems to struggle with. Dennis Schroeder didn't have one of his better nights tonight. I felt like some of his minutes could have been scaled back. I saw a Keon Ellis sighting. For whatever reason, he decided to play Keon Ellis 5 minutes. I'm not understanding what a guy's supposed to do in 5 minutes of basketball. I felt like maybe some of the minutes Schroeder was getting, give more of those minutes to Keon Ellis, who seemed like he probably could have had a better night tonight than what Dennis Schroeder was giving you. And again, first of all, I want to say this: Dean Wade he's had a very nice game, in my opinion. Like the game that he actually played when he was on the court, very nice game, in my opinion. However, my thing with it is this: we know he's a liability on offense. Even when he does have a good game, it's like you still don't necessarily know if that shot, if you need that shot, is it gonna go? Do you trust it to go in or not? And when I say I'm watching the overtime period, it's 110 to 104 Knicks, and it's 1 minute and 45 seconds left to go in the game. This particular time, and again, I don't agree with this, he's got Sam Merrill and Max Strus out there. Again, in my personal opinion, the two of them together, especially with what the Knicks have been running, I don't think that's conducive. At this point, I think you have to maximize your defense while having offense. And the thing is, I believe you have, like, Max Strus is a player. I think you could do that, and you could have had him out there instead of Dean Wade in these final closing, because I would say midway through the fourth quarter, all the way up until now in the overtime period, the Knicks have done the same thing. They're still doing it now. They're isolating and getting Jalen Brunson one-on-one with James Harden primarily is who they've been targeting. But him, Sam Merrill, and then now that he's brought Max Strus in, Max Strus is doing a much better job of trying to fight over these screens and actually fighting over these screens to stay in front of Jalen Brunson. Something that Dean Wade was just kind of conceding. When the screen would come, he would just give the switch for whatever reason. I'm not sure, because Brunson kept making James Harden pay. Like, James Harden cannot guard Jalen Brunson one-on-one. And then even as a coach, Kenny You can't let the Knicks. They didn't even have to run any plays. They just kept saying, "All right, well, if you're gonna keep letting us run this pick to get this switch to have James Harden guarding Jalen Brunson, we just about to keep doing it." They're still doing it right now with 1:07 left to go, 111 to 104. Jalen Brunson got the ball, and James Harden is guarding him at the top of the key, one-on-one. This has not worked, Kenny, for the past, I don't know how many minutes of basketball. The past, I don't know how many minutes of basketball we've been watching Jalen Brunson cook whoever is guarding him one-on-one, because it's not Dean Wade and it's not Jalen Tyson. And respectfully, these other individuals are having a hard time guarding him. So, I've been saying it quite a bit, and I said it even, before coming into this series, man. When you get deep into the playoffs, first of all, when you just get into the playoffs, period. But when you get deep into the playoffs, we're talking about the best of the best, the creme de la creme. So you have the best players from that particular year who are playing basketball against each other, and you also have the best coaches from that year that's coaching against one another. The best coaching minds, or whatever, if you will. So it's a battle of the talent, and it's also a battle of the minds. And if the coach, if Mike Brown is able to identify, okay, well, look, if I just keep running this switch right here, they just keep letting James Harden guard Brunson one-on-one, and Brunson is just cooking him. All right, well, I'm just about to keep doing that then. I'm just going to keep running that until they stop. Kenny, now you have to counter. You have to counter that, man. And for the life of me, I can't understand. You have a counter to that on your bench. You just refuse to put him in the basketball game, man. You actually got a couple counters to that, because when I saw Keon Ellis, I actually got excited. I was like, all right, okay, here we go. Maybe we could get a little bit more of an expanded rotation besides just Dean Wade, Sam Merrill, Max Strus. Maybe we could get more of an expanded look at some different guys and stuff like that. No, you played Keon Ellis 5 minutes worth of basketball, man. That's what he got. And, for all intensive purposes, even especially this lineup right here that you running, that he's got out there currently, scores 113 to 104 with 34 seconds left to go in overtime. And he's got, basically the 4-guard lineup out there with Sam Merrill, Max Strus, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and then Mobley at the 5. One of the things we've been struggling to do is rebound on the offensive glass. So for me, again, that's a place where, just rebounding in general, I feel like either two bigs, either the double big set works better for when they miss and you're able to get the rebound, or possibly if you miss, you're able to get the rebound. So double bigs in that mindset, as well as Tyson being a better rebounder, than like a Sam Merrill is. You know what I mean? I struggle to understand why you could have a piece that has played as well as we've seen him play, know what he's capable of, and somehow keep his behind glued to the bench. I don't understand that. If Deuce McBride can get minutes for the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1, if he could get minutes, why can't Jalen Tyson? Jalen Tyson is a better basketball player than Deuce McBride. And Deuce McBride has seen the floor tonight in this game. Landry Shamet is actually on the court right now at this very moment. 115-104. Knicks, they running out the clock now. Landry Shamet is on the court. Jalen Tyson is a better basketball player than Landry Shamet. So how is it that Mike Brown, who, when he was coaching here with the Cavs, he wasn't good enough? How is it that Mike Brown, I can see if they kicked y'all butt from start to finish, but the Cavs had kind of dominated this game. Like, really had dominated this game until pretty much like midway through the fourth quarter. Starting going into the midway fourth quarter. And then completely through the overtime period. Because it took, I think, until the Knicks, I think the Knicks had cut the lead to 4. Look at Donovan Mitchell looking so sad walking back to the locker room, man. James Harden too. Oh my goodness, I feel for y'all, bro. Because the coach won't play the players that'll help y'all, man. Like, he just has a terrible feel for who to play. Anyway, man, made me forget where I was at. Oh my God, look at Donovan. Oh my goodness, made me forget where I was at. We've seen Jalen Tyson and what he's been able to bring to the table, man. How is it that he can't get minutes just to see what he, all right, let me see what you got tonight. Let me see. And in Keon Ellis, what he did in the 5 minutes that he was out there, I was actually good with it. I wanted to see more, in my opinion. I wanted to see more of it. But when you get Jalen Brunson operating one-on-one against James Harden from midway through the fourth quarter and all the way through overtime, I mean, what do you expect? What are we expecting to happen, Kenny? Like, what are we expecting to happen? At what point did you not register, okay, I can't let them continue to just set this screen on whoever that fifth man is, because it was Dean Wade for an extended period, and then they just kept setting the screen on Dean Wade and then switch off Harden. And then Dean Wade would just concede every time. It's like he's not fighting over the screen. Okay? And then after they cut the lead to 4, then he subs out Dean Wade and then replaces Dean Wade with Sam Merrill. Okay? They just do the same thing. And then James Harden is still the one who's guarding Jalen Brunson. And then the killer part was, even if we would get Brunson to miss, like, Merrill would be, and this is no shot at Sam Merrill, it's not, but Merrill would be getting boxed out. So, like, when he trying to jump to get the rebound or something like that, he got to try to go over somebody, like, he getting boxed out. Basically, it's no shot against Sam Merrill. Like, not physical enough in that aspect to be trying to, like, box out and get the rebound, as opposed to somebody who may have a little bit more physicality on him. If it's not Jalen Tyson, I would have even preferred Max Strus, because in those scenarios, I feel like Max Strus fights for those rebounds. Not only does he fight for them, he tends to get them quite a bit too. It's not like he's just fighting for it. It's like, more often than not, them 50-50 balls with Max Strus, them 50-50 balls is more like 60-40 with Max Strus. Because he got that fight in him. He got that dog. It's like, it's just something, how they say a person, have a nose for the ball. Like, it's like he has that. So my thing was, why did you keep Dean Wade up until, the lead is only 4 points. And then now, when you replace Wade, you put Sam Merrill in there. And again, like, I'm with you on the 3-point side. But my thing was, we needed defense and 3-point. And in this particular instance, and I've talked about this previously on this channel, man. In this particular instance, because I'm gonna have to get my guy Luca on here, because we gotta talk about this. In this particular instance, Sam Merrill being a great team defender, that didn't help us, because the Knicks weren't playing team offense. They were playing isolation Jalen Brunson offense. So there was no team defense aspect to it. It was just, we finna isolate, we finna run a pick to get the exact guy that we want to guard him. And then everybody get out the way. And it's just one-on-one. We don't think that your guy can stop our guy. Just one-on-one. We don't think you can stop him. And that's precisely what happened. And again, in my opinion, even if you wanted to say Dean Wade was the best on the team, on the Cavs team, was the best defender against Jalen Brunson, even if I conceded that, which I don't, but even if I conceded, the second best defender would be Jalen Tyson, who played 0 minutes of basketball. But in that game where we was getting blew out last series, I believe that was game 6 at home, and we was getting blew out. Oh, Jalen Tyson was good enough to go out there and play 2 minutes in that game. Make it make sense. It doesn't, Kenny. You had the perfect opportunity. This was the epitome of like the rest versus rust. Like that whole thing working against you, where it seemed like the rest equaled rust, in my opinion. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like the rest equaled rust. Look at that, man. Jalen Brunson ended up with 38 points on a night where he was struggling. He ended up with 38 points, 38, 6, and 5 on a night where he was struggling. Like that's insane. Harden turned the ball over a lot, of course. Harden got 6 turnovers, of course. But yeah, man. I understand that I'm beating a dead horse at this particular junction, but as crazy as it sounds to say this, I feel like the winning is what has saved Kenny up until this point. Just the fact that ultimately, you ended up winning. You won. When my thing is, number one, you could be winning in much more convincing fashion. And then, meaning like not going to game 7s every series. Because every series you go to game 7. Every series. You go to game 7. And then not only that, but eventually, when you keep playing with fire, you're going to get burned. And like, that's what I mean with the idea of the way he operates with his lineups as well as overall playing time. You have to be willing to exhort, every last option, exhaust every last option. That would be the better term. You got to be willing to exhaust every last option, man. So, in my opinion, there shouldn't be any guys that, like, first of all, if you're going to play a guy, don't play him for only 5 minutes. I don't think that's fair to the player, man. Give him a chance to get a lather. If you're going to play a guy, play him at least 10 minutes. Give him a chance to get a lather. If you're going to play a guy at all, man, at least play him for 10 minutes. Let him get a chance to get a lather out there, man. And respectfully, Kenny, be able to judge when a guy might have it that night and when he doesn't have it that night. And if he doesn't have it that night, stop trying to force it because you have other pieces on your bench that you can use. You haven't had a problem using them all year long, even in the postseason when I felt like you had been running too many people out there at certain times or giving extended minutes to certain individuals at times. I want to not overreact over one game, but the thing about it is this is for a chance to go to the NBA Finals. And the two teams that we faced prior to the New York Knicks, I feel like their defenses are better than the New York Knicks. Like, I feel like those teams the defense that they play, I feel like their defenses are better. Now, statistically, in this postseason, the Knicks defense is actually rated better than the two teams that we played. But my argument with that would be, we'll look at the teams that the Knicks played. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they was playing the Boston Celtics or they hadn't played the Cavs yet. You know what I mean? Or just your better teams, you would think, quote unquote, in the Eastern Conference. They played the 76ers, who I believe came from the play-in. You know what I mean? And the Hawks. Like, come on, man. That's not. So yeah, you probably, your defense probably gonna look a little bit better against those teams. You know what I'm saying? Your defense probably gonna be ranked a little bit high. But for me, if you want to have a chance to win this series against the Knicks, of course, the series never starts till, a team wins on the road. But, thinking that you can continue to live in this world of going to Game 7 and winning Game 7, if you keep playing with fire, you're going to get burned. And so my thing is, that's what I was saying in the last video. It's like Kenny doesn't decide to make the proper change or try to make a change until it's just absolutely no other choice. Well, my thing is, if you just do it beforehand, then you're not in that extremely bad situation of where you're like, oh, it's Game 7. You know what? Let me start Max Strus instead. Why wait until it comes to Game 7 to do that? Because my thing is, why was Max Strus good enough to start in Game 7 against the Pistons, but he wasn't good enough to start Game 1 against the New York Knicks? Is it because Dean Wade plays such great defense on Jalen Brunson? Well, Jalen Brunson ended up with 38 points. So how good did that great defense that Dean Wade plays on him, how good did that work out tonight? It didn't. And it's just because of the same reason that I said on this channel previously. I can't wait to do another video about it, because I'm pretty sure the Knicks are going to continue to do this throughout the series. I would, especially if Kenny doesn't adjust. But I can't wait to play me back saying this. I'm like, the best teams in the world, the best coaches in the world, the best basketball minds in the world. If I know that Dean Wade does a great job at defending Jalen Brunson, well, first thing I'm going to do, hey, run a screen. Make them switch. Now Dean Wade is guarding some guy over there that ain't even in the play. Because the play is one-on-one Jalen Brunson. Get a bucket. That's the play. So Dean Wade is now rendered ineffective. And we know that he ain't really bringing much to the table on offense. I watched that man do to Ben Simmons in that Detroit Pistons game late in the third quarter, and we was up 17 points, and he was scared to shoot a wide open layup. So at some point, I believe that you're going to have to address that issue, man, that seems to be sticking out like a sore thumb, which is a ton of people can see that there are better options in the starting lineup at that spot than Dean Wade. And it's no slight to the defense that Dean Wade brings to the table. It's just, I feel like that defense can be same served off the bench with less minutes than, I think he played 30 minutes or 29 minutes. That same defense can be well served off the bench with about 17 to 20 minutes slotted. Just do that. Put Strus out there to start with. Blitz Brunson the same way that you blitz Cade Cunningham. They have similar games, like similar styles. They're more post-centric guards. Not just, well, Cade, I would argue, probably has a quicker first step than Jalen Brunson, if I'm being completely honest about it. I would say that Cade probably has a little bit more shift to his game to go with body positioning and strength. I would give Cade that. Cade does have a nice little shiftiness to his game, nice little quickness, off of his dribble and everything like that. But yeah, man, I feel like it's a crime, it's a tragedy that Jalen Tyson just can't. His butt is glued to the bench, and then the fact that you brought Keon Ellis in and played him for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. What Kenny, what on earth are you doing? Kenny, you're gonna cost, because from what I watched, from what I'm looking at, the Cavs have the better basketball team. I'm gonna say that again. The Cavs have the better basketball team. Our coach just, for some odd reason, can't seem to push the right buttons behind the curtain. Dogs on the couch. Signing off.